There are a lot of facilities that, for plenty of reasons, remain strictly off-limits and hidden from public eyes. And it's only thanks to open-source mapping tools and the ease of sharing information online that they're beginning to surface. From classified testing grounds to military training bases, unexplained anomalies, and strategic installations, these places are now being brought into focus. So, join us as we explore the 15 forbidden places kept secret by governments. Let's start off with number 15, Tunguska Event Site. The Tunguska site in Russia is one of the most bizarre natural disaster zones ever recorded in human history. On June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion rocked the forest near the stony Tunguska River in Siberia, an event now known as the Tunguska Explosion. It flattened over 770 square miles of forest and uprooted an estimated 80 million trees in a shockwave pattern radiating outward. Despite its scale, equal to around 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, no crater was discovered. Experts believe the cause was an asteroid or comet fragment that detonated in the atmosphere several miles above ground. This absence of impact evidence has given rise to a mix of scientific investigation and outlandish theories, ranging from alien crafts to black hole experiments. The region's isolation only deepens the mystery, and scientists still study tree rings, soil, and microspherules to understand the object's composition. Government restrictions remain, partly to preserve the site, and possibly to keep something else from being uncovered. Number 14, HARP Research Program. This research facility near Gakona is a scientific installation focused on the ionosphere, the atmospheric region between 50 and 400 miles above the Earth. Since August 2015, it's been managed by the University of Alaska Fairbanks, following its transfer from the U.S. Air Force. Its main apparatus, the Ionospheric Research Instrument, is a high-powered radio frequency transmitter that excites specific sections of the ionosphere for study. The site features a grid of 180 high-frequency cross-dipole antennas spread across 33 acres, capable of delivering 3.6 megawatts of power skyward. Researchers use this to examine solar interactions and how ionospheric shifts impact GPS and radio signals. There's also research into passive phenomena like auroras and atmospheric change. Originally under military control since 1990, HARP has long been surrounded by suspicion. While it holds open tours, tight restrictions still apply, and many remain unconvinced that the public knows the full scope or real purpose of what goes on there. Number 13, Jan Mayen. This is a secluded volcanic island owned by Norway in the Arctic Ocean, known for its harsh landscape and long-standing secrecy tied to its location and limited access. Roughly 34 miles in length and covering about 144 square miles, it has no permanent population, but supports up to 35 rotating staff who maintain Norway's weather stations and radio facilities. Its defining geological feature is the Beerenberg volcano, Earth's northernmost active volcano, which last erupted in 1985. Due to its geography, the island holds immense scientific value, including glacial activity and Arctic-influenced climate patterns marked by regular storms and dense fog. It's also surrounded by rich marine ecosystems supporting large seabird and seal populations. Declared a nature reserve in 2010, it also holds a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. However, restrictions around entry continue to spark theories, partly because the island once served as a Cold War NATO base, believed by some to still be quietly operating to this day. Number 12, Federal Intelligence Service Building. This intelligence service building in Berlin, headquarters of the Bundesnachrichtendienst, officially opened in 2019, representing a move toward more streamlined and central operations. Despite the sleek image, it's still the base of Germany's most secretive agency, and most of what happens inside is highly classified. It's the largest intelligence service headquarters in the world, even exceeding the CIA's Langley facility. Located in Berlin's Mitte district, the complex stands where a former sports stadium once sat and cost around 1 billion euros. It spans the area of 36 football fields and houses over 4,000 staff. The agency's relocation from a Munich suburb to Berlin was driven by modernization needs and a push to align more closely with federal operations. The 9-story structure contains more than 5,000 rooms and includes a rare public-facing visitor center. At its opening, Chancellor Angela Merkel stressed the importance of strong intelligence systems in today's unstable and interconnected global environment. Number 11. Iron Mountain. Iron Mountain in Pennsylvania is one of the most fortified document and data storage facilities in the world, known for housing sensitive records and assets from global corporations and U.S. government agencies. Once a limestone mine, it was converted during the Cold War into a high-security storage site capable of withstanding catastrophic events. The underground facility offers unmatched protection thanks to its natural insulation and deep subterranean structure. It contains secure vaults, private suites, and even a controlled underground lake that helps maintain optimal humidity levels. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, federal departments, and cultural institutions, storing everything from classified files to irreplaceable artifacts. The site also holds original master recordings and photographs, with an in-house recording studio used to review content without removing it from the facility. Despite tighter regulations, the full extent of what's stored remains secret, and many believe it's more impenetrable than Fort Knox. Number 10. Kapustin Yar. Kapustin Yar, in Russia's Astrakhan Oblast, is one of the country's most historic and secretive military sites. Founded in 1946, it became the Soviet Union's primary rocket test facility during the early Cold War years, built in response to growing U.S. technological dominance. It served as both a missile testing range and satellite launch site, playing a critical role in the USSR's entry into the space race. Over the decades, it's been linked to numerous classified programs, experimental weapons, and rumored UFO incidents, often called Russia's Area 51. Sightings and stories of extraterrestrial encounters have fueled decades of conspiracy theories. Though much about Kapustin Yar was revealed following the collapse of the USSR, many aspects remain under tight security. The site is still active and continues to support Russia's missile testing and space-related military work. Despite declassified archives, the current scope of operations is unknown, reinforcing its reputation as one of Russia's most secretive installations. Number 9. Woomera Prohibited Area. The Woomera Prohibited Area, shortly WPA, which is very good by the way, in South Australia is a vast remote military test zone controlled by the Royal Australian Air Force. Covering nearly 47,000 square miles, it's the largest land-based weapons testing range in the Western Hemisphere. It's been operational since 1947, originally formed under the Anglo-Australian Joint Project to develop long-range missiles. During the Cold War, the site became essential for rocket and missile testing, using its isolated corridor with minimal population. Over time, the Woomera village expanded to support base personnel, once hosting around 7,000 people. WPA is divided into red, amber, and green zones based on defense activity frequency, with controlled public access. Mining is allowed only with defense approval. The airfield remains active, and the facility supported space projects like the Hayabusa capsule recovery in 2010. Though smaller now, it still holds strategic significance. Despite reduced operations, much of what happens inside remains off-limits, protected by military regulations and classified status. Number 8. Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is a remote island situated in the central Indian Ocean and forms part of the British Indian Ocean Territory. It's considered one of the most geopolitically vital U.S. military bases, operated under a long-standing defense agreement between the United Kingdom and the U.S. located midway between Africa, Southeast Asia, and Australia. Diego Garcia serves as a key forward operating hub for naval air and surveillance missions. The island had a tiny population until the 1960s and 70s, when British authorities removed all native Chagosian inhabitants to make room for the base, an act that remains controversial and the subject of international legal disputes. Since construction began in the 1970s, Diego Garcia has supported major U.S. military campaigns, including during the Gulf War, Iraq War, and operations in Afghanistan. The base's infrastructure, capabilities, and equipment are classified, and the displaced Chagosians have never been permitted to return, despite repeated rulings from global courts siding in their favor. Number 7. Sari Shagan. Sari Shagan in Kazakhstan has a deep history as an anti-ballistic missile testing site established by the Soviet Union in 1956. Its position, around 1,000 miles from key Russian launch sites, allowed distant observation of missile trajectories mimicking intercontinental flight. The site played a key role in advancing Soviet and later Russian air defense systems and high-powered radar technology. Notably, in 1961, it was the location of the first-ever successful interception of a ballistic missile warhead. It also hosted several high-altitude nuclear tests. For these milestones, Sari Shagan received the Order of Lenin in 1966 and the Order of the Red Star in 1981. Following the USSR's collapse in the 1990s, many facilities were abandoned and looted. Later, Russia leased parts back from Kazakhstan and resumed testing. In 2022, another test was confirmed. The area remains under intense secrecy, and you can't visit it. Number 6. Institute for the Works of Religion. The Institute for the Works of Religion, often referred to as the Vatican Bank, is a private financial institution located within Vatican City and operates under the jurisdiction of the Holy See. Founded by Pope Pius XII in 1942, the bank's main objective is to manage and safeguard funds on behalf of Catholic institutions worldwide, including religious orders, dioceses, and Vatican offices. Unlike commercial banks, its activities align with religious and charitable missions, handling payroll for Vatican staff, interdiocesan transfers, and asset management for church operations. Oversight is provided by a board of supervision and a commission of cardinals appointed directly by the Pope. Despite its mission, the bank has faced repeated scrutiny over the years, including allegations of money laundering, financial misconduct, and poor oversight. Efforts toward reform have led to stricter monitoring, closure of questionable accounts, and increased cooperation with international financial authorities. Still, most of its inner workings remain confidential and shielded from outside inquiry. All right, now, let's move to Number 5. Dulce Base. The small town of Dulce in northern New Mexico appears quiet on the surface, but for years it's been at the center of claims about a highly classified installation beneath it, known as the Dulce Base. This alleged underground facility is said to house joint operations between humans and aliens, with each level assigned to increasingly advanced and disturbing projects. Stories link it to cutting-edge tech, biological research, and alien collaboration. The theories gained peak in the late 1970s and early 1980s, thanks to documents and claims by people like physicist Paul Benowitz, who believed he was intercepting alien transmissions from an underground source. While nothing has ever been officially confirmed, the details from supposed insiders remain oddly consistent. Dulce sits on Apache tribal land, making external investigations even harder. Locals and tribal leaders often dismiss the base as folklore, but curious roadblocks and restricted paths near the area continue to spark speculation that something is being hidden. Number 4. Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. The Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center is located within the Gobi Desert in China Gansu Province, and it is one of the country's most vital launch complexes and a central part of its space ambitions. Established in 1958, it's China's oldest and most active spaceport, playing a major role in its aerospace development. It's the site of several landmark launches, including the Dongfang Hong 1 satellite in 1970 and China's first crewed space mission, Shenzhou 5, in 2003. The facility handles both manned and unmanned missions and supports scientific satellites, orbital testing, and long-range exploration. Jiuquan is equipped to launch various models of the Long March rocket family, making it an indispensable part of China's space infrastructure. It's also central to the Shenzhou program, which has successfully placed Chinese astronauts in orbit. While China has adopted a more open stance in recent years due to the military's involvement, much of what takes place at Jiuquan remains under tight security and is rarely revealed. Number 3. Camp Peary. Camp Peary is a large military compound operated by the CIA, often referred to as the Farm. Spanning about 9,000 acres near Williamsburg, it's officially listed under the Department of Defense as an armed forces experimental training activity. However, it primarily functions as a training facility for CIA Directorate of Operations officers and personnel from other covert branches, including the DIA's clandestine units. The U.S. government never acknowledges its true role, but its purpose is widely known. The site is heavily guarded, with visitors escorted at all times. Training includes everything from espionage techniques to tactical operations. Camp Peary also has a long history. During World War II, it trained Navy Seabees and served as a POW holding center. After a brief post-war period as a state forest and game reserve, it was reclaimed by the Navy in 1951 and shut to public access. Its covert function has only deepened since then. Number 2. Pantex Plant. The Pantex plant, located just northeast of Amarillo, Texas, is a critical site within the United States nuclear weapons infrastructure. Originally established during World War II as a conventional munitions facility, it later evolved into the country's primary assembly and disassembly center for nuclear warheads. Covering thousands of acres in the Texas Panhandle, it's operated by Consolidated Nuclear Security, LLC, under the supervision of the National Nuclear Security Administration, a division of the U.S. Department of Energy. Pantex's role includes assembling new warheads, extending the lifespan of aging systems, and dismantling retired nuclear weapons in accordance with global arms agreements. Its operations have long raised environmental and public health concerns due to the presence of radioactive materials and the sensitive nature of its work. Security protocols are extensive, and specific activities, including weapon transfers or materials stored on site, are never publicly disclosed. Pantex continues to be a cornerstone of America's defense posture and nuclear security strategy. Number 1. RAF Menwith Hill. RAF Menwith Hill, based in North Yorkshire, is a highly secure intelligence facility operated by the United States in partnership with the UK Ministry of Defence. Its distinct white spherical radomes, resembling oversized golf balls, hide powerful satellite interception equipment used for global surveillance. Originally developed during the Cold War, its mission was to monitor Soviet military and diplomatic communications. Over time, Menwith Hill evolved into a major asset within the Five Eyes intelligence alliance, particularly for the NSA and GCHQ. It specializes in intercepting satellite transmissions, signals intelligence, and digital communications worldwide. It's believed to be a core component of the Echelon system, a network said to collect and analyze enormous volumes of global data. While officially justified as part of counterterrorism and military support efforts, the facility has drawn criticism from privacy advocates and civil rights groups. Despite ongoing controversy, its exact capabilities remain undisclosed, reinforcing its place as one of the most closely monitored and closely guarded sites in the UK. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon.